Hello everyone, welcome to our class today. So the subject of this class is how to export your connection forces from GRAITEC Advance Design to IDEA StatiCa solution. So let's go forward with our slides. So I would like to first have a brief overview of both software, so GRAITEC Advance Design and IDEA StatiCa solutions. And after that, we will go on and check how the transfer of loads will work from Advanced Design to IDEA StatiCa. So what is Advanced Design? Advanced Design is structure, analysis, and design solution from GRAITEC. So I have listed some of the benefits of Advanced Design here for you. So first of all, obviously, it's the beam workflow that we have with Advanced Steel and Revit that you can send or synchronize, basically import and export, as well synchronize your models from and to Advanced Design using either Advanced Steel and Revit, and as well in Advanced Design we have also other file transfer formats like IFC and etc. The second one is automatic climatic load generators in Advanced Design. So it's also very beneficial. Advanced Design can automatically create seismic, wind, and snow loads based on your definition. It is very user-friendly, and the modeling is very easy in Advanced Design. We have a very good steel sections optimization tool in Advanced Design, so you can always ask the software to optimize the sections that they are like having a workload ratio over 100%. Or even you can like save costs and assign some values below 100. So Advanced Design will automatically detect the sections that they are working under a specific percentage, let's say 50%, and it will offer you a more economized sections. Advanced Design supports all international codes and most of the Europe annexes and most of the actually famous international codes. The reports are in Advanced Design are fully customizable, so you can decide on which details you want to have in your reports. You can even insert special tables, screenshots of the model, etc., etc. And finally, the other important point is it's being constantly enhanced. So we have so many developers that they're constantly working on the software. So we are listening to the clients to bring up new features and always keep the standards and codes up to date. So here I have some screenshots of Advanced Design. Like obviously this is going to be a brief overview of the software. So here this is in these screenshots you can see the full automatic load generators on this structure. So this structure is we have used the automatic load generator for wind on this one. And here we have used snow generator, which is going to be automatic in Advanced Design. So it can automatically even detect the drop downs, and it will automatically create your snow drift loads. We also have full seismic analysis and time history analysis in Advanced Design, and as well as very strong power and modeling tools that you can create very complicated structures in Advanced Design. So here you can see like it's a steel structure. So as you see, the graphics is full 3D rendered. As well here you can see a brief overview of what we call as a project browser. So all of the members and elements, even loads and analysis types that you're adding to your model will be listed in this project browser that you have control on them. And you can always select them, hide them, display them, or activate them very fast. Also, just to let you know, we have so many tools in Advanced Design, like CAD functions. It's going to help you with your creating the model, copying, moving, even rotation, extrusion tools, which can be helpful in creating thin walled structures like silos and etc. And as well, different view options, as you see here, selection options, etc., etc. And finally, the screenshot that I have here is actually from the structure generator of Advanced Design. So yes, we have a tool also in Advanced Design that you can automatically generate some typical structures, as you see here, based on the properties that you define in this window. So, and as well here, I have just put some screenshots of some projects that have been done in Advanced Design. So you see we can do very complicated structures in Advanced Design, and we can analyze them, code check them, check the deformation, etc., etc. So also the good thing in Advanced Design, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be the BIM workflow that we have, let's say from Advanced Steel or Revit, that you can bring in your geometry directly inside Advanced Design. Okay, this was a brief overview of Advanced Design structural software. And now let's talk about IDEA StatiCa. So IDEA StatiCa connection is a software mostly focused on steel connection design. So it is a very powerful software. So that's why I have listed like some of the main benefits of IDEA StatiCa connection solution here. So basically, the first one is fast and simple modeling. So in IDEA StatiCa, we have a different operations. We call them manufacturing operations, that you can create your connections very fast using those manufacturing operations. So if you want to apply an end plate, a stiffener, etc., we have a specific tools that you can do them. And the other part is you can also bring in the geometry of your connection from other software like Advanced Steel or Tekla and others. There's almost no limitation for the geometry of connection. So you can create basically very complicated connections in IDEA StatiCa, but as well, we also have the typical normal connections that you can analyze them in IDEA StatiCa. There's also no limitation for the loading. So you can have in-plane and out-of-plane forces applied to your connection. It can do nonlinear behavior, like both material and geometrical, because it's a full finite element solution. And also, yes, the other important part is it can also code check your connection components based on different codes. So which is going to be very helpful, and as well all of the internal forces are going to be calculated from finite element analysis. So you will have more accurate forces compared to hand calculation. And finally, we have obviously BIM links as well in IDEA StatiCa. So actually one of those is the subject of this webinar today. So today I'm going to show you how you can send your forces from Advanced Design to IDEA StatiCa. But in terms of exporting from other or importing from other solutions, IDEA StatiCa has also special links for those other software. So here I have put some of the examples of the connections that we can create in IDEA StatiCa. As you see here, we can create very complicated connections here. Also, we have the base plate and anchors module in IDEA StatiCa that you can verify your base plate and anchors and code check them. So as you see here, creating circular pipes, cutting them, welding them, etc. It's going to be very easy using the IDEA StatiCa because it has automatic cutting tool that you can cut all of the elements using the surface parameters. Also here I have put some of the results that we can get from IDEA StatiCa connection design. So obviously the first one is going to be your overall check. We call it overall check. So software will let you know that which components in your connection are passing the code check and which are not. So it's going to be color coded and you will have the percentages up there. As well, you will have access to full stress distribution in the connection. So as you see here, we have this connection meshed, and IDEA StatiCa will automatically take care of all of the bolts, bolt holes, contact elements. Even meshing is going to be automatic. But anyway, if you want to change the mesh properties, we have options in IDEA StatiCa to change them. And finally, here you can also see the deformed shape. You can see the buckling mode shapes. In this case, I have the buckling mode shape of this connection here. So it's also possible to check your elastic buckling mode shapes and eigen values, which is based on your loads and the geometry of the connection. And finally, as you see here, here are the codes that or standards that we have in IDEA StatiCa. So you can basically code check your connection based on these standard or country standards that you see here. So let's now have a live demo of how we can send our loads from a structure that we have already analyzed in Advanced Design and send the internal force or nodal forces to IDEA StatiCa to basically design my connection and code check my connection. So let's go to the software. Okay, I have opened the steel structure in Advanced Design. So if you want to check the properties, you can just check them with the tooltips that we have here, or I can just click on that and all of the properties of that section will be displayed here about this member. So as well, you can check all of the sections that I have here in this structure or elements. I have also applied just some dead loads to this structure to keep it simple. Obviously, Advanced Design will automatically calculate the self-weight of the structure and apply it to the elements. And if you want to create more load case scenarios, you can just go here, and as you see, these are all of the load scenarios that we can apply to a structure in Advanced Design. So as I mentioned earlier in my slides, snow, wind, seismic, we have automatic load generators for those type of loads. The next step is going to be obviously defining our load combinations, which is, again, we have an automatic combination generator in Advanced Design. So it's actually here. So I can click generate, and it's going to automatically create my load combination. So in this case, in this model, I have just one dead load, and we have just two load combinations. But if you end up having several load cases, this tool will be very helpful to create all of those combinations and as well the coefficients based on the code. As well, you have the option here to either add the combinations either manually, or you can even import or export them to Excel. So I will click OK, and now I can perform a steel design on this structure. So we simply go to Analysis, and I can click on Steel Calculation and click OK. So now Advanced Design will start the analysis. As you see, it's going to automatically mesh my structure and perform the finite element analysis. Okay, the analysis are done, and now I can actually check my results. So basically, the first set of results that we can check are displacements. So I can click there, and we will have our displacements here. As well, I can always check my internal forces. So you can select there, and here I have my linear elements. So for example, if I want to check the axial force, I can simply go there, and I can see them as color diagram, and the forces are going to be listed here. So you can always activate also the values on diagrams, so you can clearly see the axial force on those. So here we have controls that you can change the font size, the diagram size, etc., etc. So it's very user-friendly to use Advanced Design. So also, as I mentioned earlier, you can also do code check of your members in Advanced Design. So actually, we have done it here. So for example, we can check for deflection criteria or strengths. So in this case, I can select strengths. I can go either one by one based on the internal forces, or you can go with max. Click here, and here I can clearly see using the color codes the workload ratio of my members separately. So in this case, obviously, structure is not under a very huge load. So my maximum is 41%. And also we have some members also here that taking even less forces, or actually they're too strong for the applied loads. And in case if you want to see and check, okay, how Advanced Design is calculating those percentages, you can simply select the specified member and go to the report. And here you will have a full report of the cross-section properties, deflection checks, and as well here it's going to be the code checks that we have here. So in this case, I'm using, as you see in the below, US codes, but it's okay. You can also perform the same operation based on Canadian codes or European codes. So we have all of the standards in Advanced Design that you can select. So I can click OK here. Now what we can do is we can actually, to perform our connection design, we can actually use IDEA StatiCa. So the link between Advanced Design and IDEA StatiCa to designer connections and code checker connections. So it's going to be very simple actually. So the first step is we need to select that connection. So for example, I can select this connection here. I have 3 members. So we can go to the Beam tab of Advanced Design, and here you will see that we have the IDEA StatiCa connection link. So I can simply click on that. Obviously, it's going to ask me if I want to export just this connection, because just to let you know, in this link, we also have the option that you can export multiple connections into IDEA StatiCa. So in this case, just to keep it simple, I will just select one connection. So we click OK. And now what's going to happen is it's going to ask for the code that we want to code check that connection. So because my steel design was in US code, so here also I will select AISC, but as I mentioned earlier, we also have CSA Canadian codes here. So I can click next. So basically in IDEA StatiCa, you will need to define a load bearing member that it's going to be supported, and the loads are going to be coming from the other members. So in this case, I will assume that my support here, member M2144, will be supported. So here we have the option that you can select it. So for example, I can go here and make it bearing. Okay. So then I can click next. And here you can check the load cases that we have, and IDEA StatiCa is going to automatically read all of those load cases. Here you can see our load combinations and the factors that we have. Again, it's going to be automatically imported from Advanced Design, all of them. Also here you can also have an option to add new load combinations in case. Okay, so we will keep it as is and click next. So here you have the option to select which items will go into the project. For now, we will keep all of them, and click finish. So now the export process will be started. Okay, so as you see here, the IDEA StatiCa will be automatically opened. So now we are in IDEA StatiCa, and as you see here, the connection has imported into IDEA StatiCa. So for example, the column that we had there, it's supported, and as well we have the members that we had before in Advanced Design. But the interesting part is you see all of my load combinations are also imported, and I can see my loads here, either axial load, torsion, moment, shear, etc., which are directly coming from Advanced Design and from my analysis. So actually we are ready to go now, so we can actually start to let's say design this connection in IDEA StatiCa. So as I mentioned earlier, you can use all of the operations that we have here in IDEA StatiCa to create your model. We also have some specific fast tools that you can use here. So for example, I can right click on this and I can ask it to be connected to, let's say, web of this column. And here IDEA StatiCa will give you some templates. So for example, in this case, we can go with, let's say, this welded option and click OK. So there you go. You will have it there. So it's going to be automatically welded. As well, I can use the same operation for this beam to connect it to the web. So what we can do is right-click, connect to this web there. And here also, for example, we can use another template, let's say a welded template. So as you see here, it's now welded. So if you want to change that for a continuous, I can simply change that to a continuous one. And obviously, you can have some errors here because my sections are small. So the good thing is in IDEA StatiCa, you have control on all of those operations. Okay, so the cuts and etc. So you can simply go and let's say remove the stiffeners if you don't need them, as you see there. Or for example, about my cut operation. As you see here, I can adjust it. So for example, I can cut my beam, as you see here, by my the column there, and we can have different types of cuts. So for example, we can have this kind of cut, etc., etc. Bounding box, bounding type, bounding box type of cut. So for example, you can also check this cut, which is going to be here. If you want to remove it, you can remove it. And as well, we can have the cut one. And there you go. So you have full control on how you're going to be modeling this connection. You can also, for example, change the weld side here. So for example, I can reduce the weld side that I have on that operation. So if you want to, for example, like add some openings or like some cutbacks to the flanges in IDEA StatiCa, again, we have operations that you can create cutbacks there here. So in this case, because my column has a bit smaller than my beam, so that's I need to cut this part, or you can also change the section. So in IDEA StatiCa, we have a full library of material. So if you can go here, and I can go there, and I can select any type of material and section from there. So for example, we can go into W, and I can select a probably larger section, something like that. Which is going to be look like this, or we can just select smaller section. So for example, I can go there, and from the library, can have a smaller section, maybe. Yeah, so something like that. So as you see here, you have the full control on the model, on the operations, on the elements, etc., etc. And what I can do now, because this is going to be fully supported, we can just run calculation on this connection. Now we have the results, so I can simply go to the check. And here I can check the plastic strain that we don't have in this model. I can check the stresses. So here, very low stress, because if you remember, we had very small loads on the advanced design model. You can check stress points in contacts. If you have any contact in the model, you can check that. And finally, I can check the mesh and the deformed shape of the structure. So in this case, the loads are too small, but you can also kind of modify the deformed shape of the structure. And on top of that, in IDEA StatiCa, you can also have the code checks of weld elements or bolts. So obviously, it's going to be here. And if I click on this plus sign, it will bring up the code check, which was based on AIC code. So you can have all of the calculation or code checks, which is going to be based on what kind of clause that we have in AIC. IDEA StatiCa is able to give it to you. Okay, so this was like a brief overview of how you can transfer your loads from advanced design to IDEA StatiCa, and code check your connection. So let's go back to our slides. Okay, thank you very much for your attention to this class. So I hope you have at least got an idea of how the transfer would work. Of course, in case if you have any questions or you need more information, or even if you want to give it a try and have a trial, you can always contact us using these emails, so support.us@greatec.com and support.canada@greatec.com.